Episode 2, and I kept making the same mistake as episode 1. I will keep saying it because I kept doing it. But this episode has something else going on underneath the consistency issues, and I didn't see that until I watched the whole thing back. There's something about desperation that switches off the part of your brain that reads warning signs. You stop seeing what's actually in front of you and start seeing what you need to be there. I wanted to put that in a story, and this is where it ended up. In episode 2, Yazera arrives in the fortified medical facility carrying a wounded Max. Every sign is there, but Yazera is desperate, and desperation makes you hand over your cat to a stranger and walk into a room alone. Watch this, and then I'll show you exactly what I didn't catch.
It smells of rust and old blood. As the surgeon's cold hands took the weight, the silence felt heavier than the cat ever did.
The tools were still all over the place, 5 different models again, but the reason I kept switching wasn't taste. It was that nothing really held the character consistency. So what I did was I kept moving to the next one and hoping that that would fix it. It didn't. The model wasn't a problem. It was me. Switching between tools also meant switching between aspect ratios. So you'd have one shot that's vertical, the next that's widescreen, and then you're trying to cut them together into something that feels coherent. I hadn't really decided how this should look, so I was generating first and asking questions later. The character consistency problem is still there. Yazera's face keeps switching between scenes. Same root cause as episode 1. Same fix that I still didn't have. Locked reference sheets fed into every generation. Not just the first one, every character, every scene. That's the fix. I wasn't doing it. I will keep saying that because I kept not doing it. I also had no scene assets, no prop assets, no environment consistency at all. One moment he's at a metal table looking through files, and the next it's a wooden table with a leather book. Same scene, different everything. I hadn't built a world. I was generating locations, hoping that they would feel the same as long as they had the same character in them. They don't. Sound design was still being patched in after the fact. You can feel it in the scenes that should hit the hardest. There's no audio weight behind them. But something shifted. For the first time, I knew that I needed a specific sound effect before I had it. When the heavy metal door shuts, I went ahead and found that as effects. Footsteps on the right surfaces. I generally started hearing the sounds before I needed them.
Struck in the dark.
And that instinct was right. I just hadn't applied it to everything yet. There's an action scene in this episode where Yazera kicks in the door. And it feels so corny. And the reason it feels corny is not that much because of the generation quality. It's because I didn't have a character sheet for that version of Yazera. I used whatever looked similar enough, so it doesn't really look like Yazera kicking the door. It looks like a man who looks a little bit like Yazera kicking in a door. And honestly, I didn't have the pride and consistency yet. I was still in the mindset of, I just need to make this look cool. Because I was making this for the wrong reason. Not wrong in terms of motivation. I genuinely loved making this, but wrong in the terms of what I thought YouTube wanted from me. I was operating under the assumption that nobody would watch this if it wasn't fast-paced action the whole time. Fast cuts, multiple things happening at the same time. Brain rot pacing for the audience that I thought needed constant stimulation. Dead Reckoning is not that. Dead Reckoning is slow, it's deliberate, it has depth because I stopped competing with content that is designed to not let your brain settle. The shift wasn't a technical one, it was a shift in deciding what kind of content I actually wanted to do. It was deciding what kind of story I wanted to tell, and trusting that there's an audience for something that asks you to pay attention. This episode showed me something that I actually needed to know. I could write a story that worked. The instinct was there. The moment Max's eyes turned green while Yazera is still looking at him, that's dramatic irony. I didn't know what to call it then, I just knew that it felt right. The instinct was ahead of the execution by a long way, but it was there. That gap between what I could imagine and what I could actually produce, That was the whole next year. Dead Reckoning is on the channel, and that's the closed gap. Episode 3 of the archive is coming, but the tool list gets longer before it gets shorter.